I'm Zoran Peric, International Brand Ambassador for the House of Suntory. I'm extremely excited to be a part of GQ, India's Food and Drink Festival, and to speak to you about Roku and our lovely new offering Toki as we enjoy the essence of authentic Japanese craftsmanship. I will take you through the story of Roku, talk about a little bit of the production, history, and perfect serve. I will share a few drinks ideas with you that you can easily make at home, in your environment, in a kitchen, in your garden, at your drinks evening party, or whenever is a good call to bring a bottle of gin. Story about us and gin goes back to 1936. Suntory's first gin was produced then. Roku is the first gin that we actually exported from Japan and offer to the rest of the world. So we have our story, and our story is obviously Japanese, with a Japanese twist, with a Japanese craftsmanship, with a connection with the nature, with a love of the people who are producing this spirit. I will tell you a little bit about Roku gin. Roku means 6 in Japanese. 6, which is reflecting 6 botanicals that we use for our gin. Also, the shape of the bottle is designed having 6 faces, if you like, and each face presenting the botanical that we use. What brings us to Japan? Well, for me, always the memories of things like green tea, like yuzu, like freshness of the essential pepper, and the experiences through drinks and food that Japan brings to our table. So this time around, we use all these botanicals that you will probably be familiar with. So the first thing actually that always brings me back to Japan is Sakura season, is the spring. So we are picking up Sakura flower, Sakura leaf. Then we're looking into sencha tea, gyokuro tea, and we're looking into essential pepper and yuzu peel. So these 6 ingredients are pretty much the 6 key elements of Roku gin. This is something which in Japan is called shun. Shun represents collection of ingredients in a peak of the season. So we will never collect far too soon, or when the ingredients are green, not ready to be harvested. So attention to detail from the beginning, craftsmanship from the beginning. So once we have all these ingredients, it takes about a year to collect them, then we go through distillation process. Distillation process is again a bit more advanced than compared to many other gin producers. We use 4 different styles of stills. It's a blend of different spirits that we distill. So we're gonna distill flowers and leaves separately, then tea, then yuzu, and so on. And then we're gonna blend that with additional 8 botanicals. The product is bottled at 43% ABV, and as I said, it carries lots of lovely Japanese notes and freshness of the ingredients. For me, when I'm tasting products for the first time, I always like to taste that product neat. So that's what I'm advising to you as well. If you get a hold of Roku gin, please just have a small experience with the product itself without mixing with anything. So the nose is the first judge of what do we think about this product. And for me, it just brings again these floral notes, the lovely sakura flower, the lovely cherry blossom, which dominates in this glass with a hint of yuzu zestness. So the citrusy notes. Let's start with our perfect serve. So I'm gonna demonstrate you gin and tonic. You might gonna say, it's just gin and tonic, I know how to do gin and tonic. With all respect, you probably do. You know, you take your gin, you take your glass, get some ice, and top it with tonic water. Thus, gin and tonic is a perfect serve, is the serve done to the perfection. First of all, gin and tonic is a part of family of drinks, which is a highball. So which means it's a 1 part spirit and then certain proportion of dilution then. In our case, we like to use 1 part gin and 3 parts dilution, which is your tonic water. Now, for that amount of liquid plus ice, we need to have specific glass. So we're very specific about the size of our glasses. Why? Because we don't use just any ice, we use clear ice. Okay? Now, you can make this at home if you put, you know, like lots of water into the big tank and then leave to freeze for about 2 or 3 days, and then you should be able to have something like this. In our case, it's not going to be as quick. Also, another catch, please always use small bottle tonic water. If you're having a big party, fair enough, buy a big bottle of tonic water, but make sure that tonic water is finished that evening, or it's finished within first couple of hours, because you will lose your carbonation. Now, another really good tip for making a perfect gin and tonic is the measure. Please don't just go like, oh yeah, that's enough. You know, like, you will join the drink and you will get tipsy faster. And then, as I said, top up with the tonic water. Okay, so my glass, as you can see, it's a very large glass. The reason to that is because I'm gonna use a very large chunk of ice here that I prepared earlier from my block. So this chunk of ice, it's actually 1 piece ice. So it's not 2-3 cubes or so on. I mean, you can do that if you like, but for me to keep less dilution and more of controlled temperature, I use big chunk of ice. So the next thing I'm gonna do is gin, Roku gin, of course. What we like to do is we pour tonic water closely to the wall of the glass, not touching the ice, slowly, slowly, slowly. So you can see this game of carbonation there. So what I'm doing by that, I'm saving the carbonation. I'm not over flooding the drink with tonic and then, you know, like ruin the whole carbonation process. So this drink now, it's full of bubbles, which I really want to achieve. And then just slowly move this drink. And look at this now. Look at that game of carbonation, how much of carbonation is there. All these lovely bubbles, keep the flavor. There's lots of, plenty of flavor of gin there as well. So this will be, till this point, a perfect serve. Now, our garnish is fresh ginger. The fresh ginger is used in so many cuisines, in so many drinks in bartending and stuff, but our perfect serve is ginger. The way I slice ginger is like this. So almost like a stripes of ginger, like a spaghetti of ginger, rather than a big chunky slice of ginger. With a big chunky slice of ginger, you don't get enough flavors of that ginger, you know. As like this, the ginger's now opening up, and as you can see, it's interacting with the tonic water and releasing lots of flavor. So I'm gonna stir that one more time to combine everything together. So I have my Roku gin, cold tonic water, clear ice, and fresh ginger as a garnish. Kampai. Okay, so my second serve, or shall I call a party serve, is a little bit more complex. So we're gonna add other ingredients to it, and we're gonna make it a bit more floral, and we're gonna use certain herbs and so on. For the single serve, I'm using this kind of a balloonish glass, so larger glass, bit more kind of a trendier approach. But this time, big cube. I'm gonna use yuzu juice. Now, I know it's a little bit naughty, maybe you don't have yuzu juice right now in your house and stuff, but to get closer to yuzu, it's kind of a blend of lime, lemon, grapefruit and a little bit of mandarin. So it has all these kind of sweet, bitter, sweet notes to it. I'm gonna use, but it's very powerful, be careful. I'm gonna use just 20 ml. That's why I'm saying by using measures, it's very important in your drink. So the citrus part is my yuzu juice. The sweet parts, I'm using elderflower syrup. So is it either you can make at home by just infusing sugars with elderflower, or these days of course you can buy that in a shop as I was and use that as a sweet part. Next thing is I'm just gonna mix all that, blend to get one unique style flavor. For about 15 to 20 seconds, and again to that I'm gonna add my tonic water from the fridge. Slowly put the tonic water. And now I'm going to garnish. Of course, I'm going to use my ginger, because ginger is our most important garnish. To that, I'm going to add a little bit of rosemary. I'm going to use a lemon peel. Small lemon peel. You just use your standard peeler from the kitchen, really. And then the important thing is what we want is the skin part, which is full of lovely oil. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just squeeze the skin over the glass, release the oils, so I get a very stronger aromatic element. And I'm going to just drop in a glass. I'm going to do the same thing with the lime. So I'm just going to peel a little bit of lime. However, if you like lime, then you can just cut a veg of lime, drop in a glass, and that's it. As my last part of the garnish, I'm going to use mint, fresh mint. I love mint in my drinks. It brings again new elements or different element of freshness. So I'm just going to stir this gently, get the carbonation going, and then just put there next to my rosemary. You know, like lovely. So any zest goes really well with that. So cheers, and I hope you're going to use this recipe.